know, when you're upset, it is so much more powerful to go into the secret place. Sometimes I would hear a song and it would honestly trigger me and it would make me so upset, and I really just wanted to pick up the phone and call my best friend and, you know, just cry. But instead what I did is I went into my room and I closed the door and I laid on the floor and I cried in the presence of God. And the thing about the presence of God is that it transforms hearts and it heals wounds. And so that was more impactful than calling my friend, because all my friend could just do is be like, hey, I'm really sorry, you know, give me a couple of words of comfort, and that's all they can do because they are human. There is so much more power to go to the comforter himself and to allow him to work on your heart. So yeah, and I think also just going to God instead of going to people taught me that God was the sustainer of my heart, that God was the lifter of my head. I didn't make other people's comfort idols, rather that I ran to my refuge. And I think that is something that's really important to in this season. Don't seek out other people's comfort, as easy as that is. Number 4, don't isolate yourself. I think I did this the first 2 to 3 months of the breakup. I just wanted to be myself, by myself. I'm an extrovert and I love people and I love being around people and I love community, but I just found myself like coming into myself and just wanting to isolate myself and be by myself because I was so tender and I was so hurt. And God really rebuked me and called me out of that isolation and reminded me that isolation is a trap of the enemy. The enemy approached Eve when she was by herself, because honestly, 2 is surely better than 1. And the enemy is aware of that. And so when you choose to be a lone wolf, you make yourself a prey to the enemy. You make yourself vulnerable to the lies of the enemy. Whenever I was by myself in isolation, the enemy would just attack me of thoughts of, you know, self-worth and that I wasn't good enough and all of these things. And so I had to live in community. I had to go to church. I had to be around my friends. I had to go to weekly Bible study, go to fellowship, and just be around other people and around my community and allow them to love me back to life in that season. One thing that God said to me actually when I was kind of in my isolation, that I want to read that to you guys because it was really powerful and it really challenged me. I've created you to be dependent. Living outside of your original function is an act of rebellion. Guys, we're created for relationships. We're created to be dependent. We're created to lean on other people when we are broken, when we are hurt. And so when we choose to live as a lone wolf, when we choose to isolate ourselves, we're actually rebelling against God, which is a sin. So that's something to be just mindful of. Another thing during this season is I chose to have integrity. I believe that when life comes at us and pain comes at us, what's inside of us really comes out. There's a saying that says if you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. And it's the idea that when pressure comes, whatever is inside of that thing should come out. And so when pain comes and it squeezes out, what should be inside of us is the fruit of the Spirit. We should show love. We should show patience, we should show long suffering, we should show kindness rather than bitterness and anger and malice and slander. And again, it's very easy to feel like you just want to talk negatively about this person, you just want to slander their name, you just want to be hateful towards them. But if that's what's coming out of you when pain hits you, that's exactly what's inside of you in the first place. So I really chose to have integrity, to live a life that was true to who I am and to my nature, not to allow pain to change me. And so I didn't preach one thing on social media and tell people to love their neighbors and then, you know, talk negatively about him to my best friends. I tried to mirror the life that I was presenting to other people, even in private and in public. Last thing, celebrate other people's milk and honey seasons, even when you're in the desert place. One thing that I found is that when you're going through a hard season, it can feel like everybody else is just having blessings and, you know, living their best lives. It felt like when I was going through a breakup, all my friends were entering into amazing godly relationships. They were getting engaged, they were getting married, and it just felt like in that season I had a decision. I could either allow jealousy to have its way, I could allow discontentment and comparison to have its way, or I can choose to genuinely celebrate what God was doing in the lives of my friends. And I chose to celebrate them. I chose to be happy for them as if it was me, as if it was happening to me. And what that does is that it uproots all the lies of the enemy, all that comparison, and instead it just puts in a thankfulness, a gratitude, and a praise and an expectancy. The point of testimonies is for us to be courage. We look at what God is doing in somebody else's life and we think, wow, if God can do it for them, he can surely do it for me. If God can supply a godly spouse for my friend, then he can do the same for me. If God can sustain their relationship so that they can get married, he can do it for me. And so that's what I chose to do. And all these pointers are really, really hard, guys. And I know that they are hard, especially in pain, but they are doable. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing you know, it's like there's just nothing special about me. All it is that I chose to allow the Holy Spirit to guide me through this. And I decided that Jesus is the standard of my characters, the standard of my actions in every season, in pain, in joy, in peace, in conflict. I have to look like Christ. That's the standard of holiness that God is calling me to. And so I just pray that as you're watching this, wherever you are, if you're going through a heartbreak, if you're going through pain right now, my prayer for you is that you would find comfort in this season, that you would be refined in this season, that you would come out looking like gold. So yeah, I hope that this blessed somebody. Have a good week, guys, and comment below if you have any tips for going through a breakup, if there's anything I missed out, if there's something that you did that worked for you, if anything I said really stuck out for you and encouraged you, please let me know. You know me, guys, I love dialogue, I love conversation, I love knowing what you guys think, and I love hearing your opinions on different topics. So yeah, have a great week, guys. Bye.